So this is my review of my 2021 Honda Talon live valve. I'm about 140-ish miles, and I'm just going to tell you my likings and dislikings of the machine. First, let's start off with the suspension. The suspension is very capable and, in my opinion, very good. I like that it has the options to either be in sport mode or normal. In normal, it's a lot plusher of a ride. There's a lot more body roll. In sport mode, it does not have as much body roll. It's stiffer. Sport mode is definitely better for driving on the road. You can take corners and there's almost no body roll. It's like planted completely flat. The suspension adapts to the terrain very well. You can be flying through a trail and there be an unexpected, dip or crevice or bump, and it'll soak it up, and you won't lose control of the machine since it accommodates for the terrain. Another thing that I really like about this machine is the drivetrain. I like that you can either be in automatic or manual. You don't have to shift it all the time. I was looking at a Yamaha YXE, and the thing that kind of pushed me away from it is I don't want to have to shift it all the time. If I'm hanging out and I just want to cruise around, I want to be able to just drive it. It's really convenient. You can just put it in automatic or manual. When you're in automatic, you can put it in sport mode and it'll shift at a higher RPM and be, more aggressive with the shifts. It knows what gear you want to be in. I mean, you could be just, cruising and then just slam the gas to the floor and it'll go. It'll take such a little time to shift. It's amazing. I also like that it has low. The Yamaha YXE did not have low, and I do a lot of slower riding, going through trails or going up hills and stuff, and having low is a lot better than not having low. I like i4-wheel drive. It works pretty good. I haven't had an instance yet where it would be better to have a locked front differential. i4-wheel drive works good as the machine sits now. Potentially when I get bigger tires, it might have more of an issue and I might have to do like a bypass or a torque locker to mitigate that. But for the moment, i4-wheel drive works good in all the conditions I put it through currently. Launch mode is awesome. You just hit this button, you hold it for like 2 seconds, you get a flashing thing on here that says launch mode. You pull both of the paddles in, you hit the brake, and you just hit the gas, and you can bounce it off rev limiter, or you can, hold it at 4,000 RPMs, and you just let off the brake and these paddles, and it'll just go. It doesn't hesitate. It launches. I mean, it's crazy to do on asphalt. When you do on asphalt, it like throws you in the seat, and like you're launching a drag car almost. I like how this interior has a lot of storage. Well, a lot for a sport side-by-side. It has this nice big pocket here. I usually keep my gloves in there, or my beanie or something. I keep my phone in this pocket down here. It has a really big glove compartment. I fit my whole jacket in here before. It has 2 cup holders here. They're nice big cup holders. You can fit your, stainless steel like mugs in here. They will fit perfect. They're not going to shimmy around. These hold things in pretty well. I like the seats on this unit. I like how they already have holes for the harnesses. The bar is already there for the harness. It's going to be easy to put a harness in this for added protection to yourself. I also like how there's not a lot of noise in the cab. This is a fairly quiet machine. You can put it in manual mode and cruise in 5th or 6th gear going like 20 miles an hour. Your neighbors are going to barely hear you if you have neighbors. It is a very quiet machine, and it does just fine cruising at low speeds in a higher gear. I like the way this thing looks. This thing is in my opinion, one of the coolest slash meanest looking side-by-sides on the market right now. Nothing quite looks like it, and that makes it stand out from the crowd. So for the first con, and I'm sure many people have this problem with these talons, but the throttle is so touchy. You could barely touch it and it'll you know, it'll make it go a little faster. You hit a bump or an off, you know, if you hit a bump weird or something and your foot moves, you'll feel that come, you know, to the tires. I don't know what I'm gonna do to mitigate that yet. I might put a foot, like a heel stop right here to give me some more support, or I might possibly even cut some of the pedal off to make it shorter so I have a little more leg room and more control over the throttle. With me being 6'1"-ish, my legs actually rested above the seat a little bit, which caused it to kind of be uncomfortable on my back. Well, one thing I did to do to help this is put some washers down here and down here to raise the front of the seat about 1/4 inch so that my thighs actually rest on top of the seat, which gives me more support. I do think I need to raise the seat up a little more to make it perfect, but this will do for now. This suspension is amazing, but there is a couple downsides slash cons to it. For one, it nosedives slightly. I don't know if it's as bad as the non-live valve models, but it seems to like to nosedive a little. And I know the remedy for that is to get different Schrader caps, because I know these are known to leak, and it could just be low on nitrogen, or it could just be these tender springs, you know, being not stiff enough for the actual machine. But besides that, the suspension is fairly good. Under really like around 10 mile per hour and you hit like a little jolt bump, you definitely feel it more than in you know, the other brands slash say Can-Am, Polaris. But besides that, the suspension is fairly well rounded. And another thing I don't like about this machine is rear mud guards. In this hole here, these tires will throw mud up into that hole, and the issue with that is that hole leads to right here. You can see right to the hole. It's right there. It'll throw mud under the seat and actually onto you if you hit a, you know, big enough water hole slash little mud bog area. It will throw mud into you and under the seat there. I have ordered the McNasty mud guards to go there to prevent that issue, because that was very annoying to get my ass wet going through some water. This machine is the tires. Everyone almost dislikes the tires. In my opinion, I think they're good tires. They're just not big enough. Causes it to bottom out in places other machines wouldn't. It really just needs a 30-inch tire. Like 30 or 32-inch tire, this machine would be more capable. I can still go everywhere. It just, I scrape a little more than I'd like. So next thing on the list for me, at least, is to get some bigger tires for it. Make it look a little better, a little more meaty, and not have so much issues, you know, scraping over like, you know, little ledges or deep ruts. Some things I've added to the machine is this Super ATV flip-up windshield. I really like this thing. It was the first thing I bought for it because it was freezing cold, and I like to be a little warmer and not have cold air blowing in my face when I try to drive around. And I got the Super ATV rear windshield to help with the draft, because after I put the front windshield on, it would draft through right about here, and then your right ear, the driver's right ear and the passenger's left ear would be freezing off because all the air would be coming through right here. That helped that a lot. Got a rear view mirror for it, helped me see out the back a little. And then I went to Five Below and I got these cheap color changing lights because there's no dome light in this thing. They work good. Makes it so I can do a cool little blue hue in here when I want, or if I need to see a little better, just, you know, need to do the white light so I can actually use it as like a dome light. Another pro is it is easy to maintenance. You got both of your filters right here. You got your dipstick. You got your oil fill right under this cover right here. You have your sub-transmission dipstick slash fill port right there. Your diffs are really easy to get to. You have your fill port right there. You have the how full it needs to be right there, and you got the drain underneath. It's almost the same up front. Easy to service. Only took me like an hour. And another thing about the suspension that makes it easy to service is you can just pick up the front of it, and the suspension locks when the machine is off. So it'll actually, stay at a higher height, and you can get more room underneath it to get to the stuff you need to do, like get into the oil drain plug and the sub transmission drain plug. It's a lot easier to get under. Another con is there is no reverse lights on this. I need to get some pods back here so I can see a little better in reversing, but if you just hold the brake, you get enough red light to see for now. When I got this machine, I wanted to see what it sounded like with the baffle off, because I've heard some with it off and I thought it sounded awful when I did it. But this bolt right here was cross-threaded from factory, so when I tried to screw it back in, I could never get it to thread in. And after looking at it before I actually just ugga-dugged it in, I saw it was cross-threaded. So yeah, it's just kind of ugga-dugged in there to keep it from leaking. Would I recommend this machine to others? For 100 miles, with my experiences with it so far, absolutely. It's a fun machine. It's a very agile and up and getting and going machine. It's fun. I mean, it's not like a belt driven machine where you gotta wait for that belt to fully engage. I mean, you hit the gas and it just go. I mean, there's no engagement. It just already locked into gear. Just straight power to the wheels. I don't have anything to say about the non-live valves. I've never driven one, but if I were to say, for my personal opinion, I would get the live valve just because it really accounts for mistakes in terrain. So like if there's a bump or something that you didn't see, it'll account for that.